Welcome to another edition of Vivid View. This is your host, Elizabeth Ngozi Ehigiamusoi, known as Ehiliz. Today we're going to discuss a very important topic. We're looking at self-employment today, which is a solution to unemployment. Although as we go on, I'll give you a little tips on unemployment. Today in the studio, I have two notable personality to do justice to this topic. The first is Mr. Godwin Ehigiamusoi. He's into microfinance. Welcome. Vivid View.
Say and do it.
And the lady before us as well, Adeze Adofi. She's also a self-employed. She's also going to do justice to this. Welcome. Like I said, that I'll give a little tips on unemployment before we ask our notable guests to tell us how they began their own business. The first one is a definition by Tivan R. Pittinger from Oxford University, UK. He defined unemployment simply as a situation where somebody is of age to get work, but does not have work to do, but he has the willingness to be in full employment. He went further to say that unemployment is into two, one voluntary, another one involuntary unemployment. He said that voluntary unemployment are those who have little job to do, but they want to get a better job, either because of job satisfaction or condition of service. Then within that period, they don't have job, it's called unemployment. The involuntary unemployment, as he said, was also just to reflect to the definition, those who are willing to work but they don't have work. He also said there are also more concept on unemployment. He talked about seasonal unemployment, which we also know that in time of winter or rainy season, many people tend to lose their job, especially those who are into construction, like those constructing bridge and roads. Because of rain, they stop halfway and the workmen lose their job at that moment. He also talked about also winter in UK, for instance. During winter, they tend not to have more people that be at workforce because of the cold. And here in Nigeria, we also have similar thing. Those who are into construction companies do not work because of the cold. We also have what we call underemployment. Underemployment are those who have been engaged into a company to work, but they are not paid. They are just like casual workers or temporary workers. They are not earning their full salary. So these are the few tips from the Professor Pittinger. So, sir, Mr. Godwin, do you have any other more tips on unemployment?
Well, unemployment is a big challenge in most countries, particularly in developing countries. We do see that in Nigeria, that often if you have a group of young people, especially young people, the real challenge they face is, where do we get job? We do also understand that the way you presented that there are various types of issues when it comes to unemployment. For instance, you talked about a situation where you have a case of underemployment.
Yes.
We do see that where in most cases people who were trained and with some experience in particular areas, for one reason or the other, they are constrained to engage in an employment that obviously that not reflect their training and also not also with the commensurate remuneration. You have a case of casual workers, as you see. So these are issues that are around unemployment. I agree with you totally. There's a challenge and we need to address it.
Thank you. Madam, thank you, others. Do you also have a little thing to say on unemployment?
Well, unemployment has become a perennial situation in our country.
Exactly.
And there's so many ways to look at it. Sometimes with the, every year, higher institutions, they churn out graduates, and there are not enough places of employment. There are not enough positions for them to, to be.
Provide.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So, so you have like every year it just keeps increasing. The number keeps increasing. People
Exactly.
also get laid off because establishments are readjusting. We're looking at the finances and saying, can we do this, can we do that? And then people and then again, we are having the computers take up most of our jobs. Technology is taking up most of the, taking off the manual aspects from a lot of jobs. So, so yeah, we're just dealing with it on all sides.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you. We'll take a break now. When we come back, we'll continue with the issue now of self-employment, which is the main purpose for today. Vivid View.
Say and do it.
Vivid View.
So we are still discussing self-employment. I want to ask Madam Adesi, please, how do you see self-employment?
Well, self-employment is a way of empowering yourself in a situation where you haven't been able to get a job. So, and then self-employment also allows you to express your innate passion when you have identified what they are.
Exactly.
So self-employment, of course, helps you to, I said it helps you to empower yourself. So you're looking at generating some sort of income, yeah, some sort of living for yourself. Or you are looking at self-employment as a way to create an establishment which can run after you're gone. So you're also, self-employment also gives you, so you're looking at the place of entrepreneurship now. Exactly. As a self-employed individual. So you're setting up an organization, you're empowering yourself, you're also empowering others.
Yes, and also giving chance to others to also come in.
Yes.
What we can also call, you give space to people to work.
Yes, you create employment.
Okay.
Yeah, because...
So, Mr. Godwin, what steps will you take or will be taken to create self-employment?
Well, the important thing is that engaging in self-employment is a deliberate art. We do also know that it can actually, the desire to do it could be forced on you because there is no availability of job. But I think that if you are setting up an enterprise, you have a success in mind. And I have about 4 tips, which actually always put together as types. T-I-T-E. The first thing is that you should consider your training, which is the first tip. If you therefore you want to go into self-employment, you easily need to decide what type of enterprise you want to get into. The I is interest. You must have some level of interest in that, that enterprise. For instance, if you have, compassion, deep interest in children, that could help you when you are looking at setting up an enterprise that has to do with education. The second T is your own temperament. You need to consider your temperament because there are some enterprises that you require some, type of temperament that could make it very successful. And the last E is experience. You need to consider, for instance, what area do you have some experience. For instance, if you had a situation where you have been a teacher and eventually you get yourself into another business and another employment, and you are considering of exiting from your current employment to set up a business, an enterprise, education could now come into it. These are important. I want to also note that you do not have to have all of them, but a combination of some of them could be helpful. Okay. You need them at the point where the business obviously will come through a very difficult time. There is no doubt about that. Every business will come through a tough time. You need, therefore, your training to take you through, or your interest to take you through, your experience to take you through, and indeed your temperament to support, to ensure success in that enterprise.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Godwin. I think to also add to what Mr. Godwin just said now, is even as youth now, you have to develop what the gift you have in yourself. If you have a gift of plaiting hair, don't look at it to be a small thing. You can do better. If you have a gift of tailoring, because by the time you graduate, like we know, there's no much work. Instead of you start to wait till government employ you or anything, you can just start off your own. There are many of them. So that is the essence of this teaching. Even though they have answered it, I still want Mr. Godwin to tell us little how he started his own, because I know he's not in government employment. And even Mr. Days as well.
Okay, thank you so much. You want me to share my experience?
Briefly, yes.
I do also know that my experience is specific. It may not be generic enough. But there are some lessons that can be drawn from that.
Exactly.
I was a young man, idealistic, when I left university. And I was therefore very sure what I wanted to do. I joined the government department, that is specifically the cooperative department. And I did that because I realized, and I believe, and I still believe, that the cooperatives obviously were economic activities for persons with limited means that would therefore pool their resources and thereafter also draw their individual resources or need from that pool. I was there for some time, and at a point I decided to take a step. My motivation obviously was that I wanted to create an institution that will support low-income people, and so that was a very strong motivation. I therefore started quite small. I started quite small in my environment, and having a mindset that obviously I will make it big.
Vive View.
I hope you're enjoying this program. Because of time, I also want to take a little from Mrs. Adeze.
Okay, presently I'm going to look at my work right now as a life coach. It was just a passion I had for people. Okay. I realized I went to the university, yes, and I graduated with a second-class upper division in fine and applied arts. So that means I'm a creative person originally. Okay. And, I found out that I wanted to create people or brand people from the inside out, not necessarily from the outside in. And I'm also a reputable jewelry designer, and then I would work with my clients, and they're just going on about the outside, and I'm trying to get them to get in touch with their personality, who they are, and then reflect it in the jewelry or in the brand that they want to present outside. So that sort of like began my journey. Okay. And and I found out that I was really, really passionate about people doing the right things. I was passionate about my country, and I kept saying to myself, how do I move my country forward? And my country can only be moved forward by the quality of the people who reside in the country. So yes, that's how come I am doing what I do presently as a life coach. I had to go take do a certification course in life coaching and psychology, and that's where I am now.
All right, thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. I believe we're all enjoying ourselves. Godwin, can you please tell us the impact you have made to self-employment?
Well, as a growing business, we've been able to make huge impact on unemployment. For instance, At the moment, we have over 4,000 staff, and consistently in the past 4 years, we've been recruiting an average of about 200 to 300 persons, annually. And we hope that eventually we will do more as we continue to grow.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. That's the essence of this self-employment, because it's like a gap to unemployment. When someone is employed and you're also giving job to somebody else, that is employing other people. It helps to reduce the unemployment. Adeze, do you have something to say to this?
Well, yes, I would always like to look at this from the point of view of what I do as a life coach. So when you say, what impact have I made on self-employment, I would say that my job gives me the opportunity to work with entrepreneurs as well, business owners, people who want to start up their own businesses as well. So it's not necessarily now the people that are in my employ. It's also about the people who are out there who are going to employ other people. Yes. I did start off by saying it's about personal development. Exactly. And Godwin also said that he talked about your temperament, he talked about your experience.
Your interest.
Yes, your interest. And these are some of the things that coaching helps you to discover, to harness. So as an employer of labor or as an entrepreneur who's starting off his or her own business. So, that would be what I would say would be one of the impacts my profession brings into the discussion we're having.
That's fantastic. Thank you, Adeze, for your contribution. Now it's time for a break. When we come back, we'll take question and answer.
Vivid View.
Please welcome back. Vivid View.
Say your truth.
We're still on self-employment. So this is time for question and answer. Please, your question.
My name is Onye Jose Diamond, and my questions goes to Mr. Godwin. You said about TITE. My particular question there is that if you don't have experience in setting up a business, does it mean that the business cannot grow, you cannot be successful?
My name is Elizabeth Akembo, and my question is directed at Mr. Ehigiam Soy. So you mentioned those steps as some things that youth have to have before, as a guide or something they need when they want to set up their own businesses. But so I think finance is a major issue in setting up a business. So I don't know if you can give us some practical steps in obtaining funds, because no matter how beautiful your ideas are, you still need finance to run the business. So I would appreciate if you can give us some practical steps in obtaining funds, finances to start up a business.
All right.
I am Emmanuel Azuka Osai. My question will be directed to Madam Adeze. I want to put it this way. I've seen some of my friends who have been into business for a year or two. They grow very big, and after a year or two, they collapse. And it makes us wonder what's actually going on. So I want if Madam can give us an explanation on how we can overcome that.
Vivid View.
So the questions have been asked. Godwin, what do you have to say?
On the experience is important for success, but as I highlighted those requirements, I also indicated clearly that you do not need to have the four of them. You can actually have a combination of them. For instance, if you have sufficient training and interest, that will make for lack of experience. So it is not that if you don't have experience, you will fail. Okay. Then on financing, I'm always tempted to always say that people tend to see finance as the major issue, as a barrier. They try to exaggerate that beyond exactly what it is. I believe strongly that if you have a strong desire and you take looking for funding as a big part of the business, it will come. But I need to also advise here, that you do not need to begin a business with a borrowed fund. You can actually begin with either your savings, the little you have, or fund from your friends and family members. So that is a very critical advice.
Thank you. That's fantastic. The answer has been made. So we also Adeze to answer the one I was directed to you too.
Okay. I would say that the important thing you need to keep in mind before you begin your business, what's your plan? Do you have a plan? Have you drawn up a plan? And what are your immediate plans? What are your long-term plans for your business? And how else have you equipped yourself? Yes, you know, the planning is there on paper. There are things that happen in life that you can't necessarily put down on paper. Did you make room for that as well? You know, a lot of times I was discussing with Godwin over here that people just look at businesses myopically. You know, you're starting up a business and you're just saying, oh, your first success, you just announced to yourself, I have arrived, you know? So, and then before you know what is happening, you are a big fish in a very, 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 in fact, a big fish in a drop of water. And you don't even realize it. So that's why you find out that at the end of, like he said, a year or two, the business collapses because you didn't put structure, you didn't think about planning, you didn't make plans, you didn't make arrangements for, you know, what you would say miscellaneous plans, what happened,
perhaps no record keeping.
Exactly, you know. Yeah. So again, belief. Do you believe that your business would succeed? And I think that would help you have a long-term plan for that.
Vivid View.
Say and do it.
Vivid View.
Vivid View.
Say and do it.
There have been great response to the questions that have been asked. But in conclusion, I want to say that the only advice I have for you as a young one to develop the ideas you have in you. And I know when you do that, God is going to supply every other need for you to actualize your gift. So develop the idea. Do not just realize and say, God, there's no job, no government have not provided. Like I said at the beginning, that government cannot provide job for everybody. And it's not a particular issue to Nigeria, it's a global issue. And I was trying to say that one of my seamstress is also a graduate. But when she graduated, she said to learn how to sew. Today, she can even export her wares that she prepared and they buy them abroad. So you can as well do the same. Now with this, I want to say thank you very much for coming to my special guests, Godwin and Adeze. I appreciate your presence. And I want to say to the viewers, please keep on watching Vivid View. Same time, same station. Vivid View.
Say and do it.
We are signing out today with a notable gospel artist, Proverbs. Proverbs is in the house to sign out.
When I see a place like Vivid View, it makes me clear to me that there's hope. How many of you believe that there's hope in this country? Put your hands up in the air like this. Come on. Okay, wave those hands from side to side. Wave those hands from side to side. Wave those hands if you're feeling alive. Come on, wave those hands from side to side. Everybody, wave those hands from side to side. Wave those hands if you're feeling alive. Listen, see, it might get worse, it might get harder. It might feel like a curse, it might get martyr. It might feel like the whole world's against you, drama. It might get darker, love turns sour. There's so much rejection, no mother, no father. You're living in frustration, surrounded by palaver. You're praying for redemption, nobody even bothers. Friends stand here, breaking out of prison. There's so much pain, no sunshine, rain, confusion in your brain. Your strength is all drained. You're breaking on the strain, no cash to get the grain. You've waited forever, it's like you are going insane. You're feeling so lonely, no plan of yours is working. Doors keep closing, life keeps imposing. You're frozen, you're groaning, boning, broken. Both of here to say regardless, no matter how hard life may be, you may pull through. Everybody.